Hello everybody, welcome back to Bountiful Blessings Urban Homestead. Sorry it's been a minute since my last video update, but today we're going to take you on a tour through our garden that we have going this spring of 2024. We're going to start off right here in my boulevard. Plan to turn into a gigantic flower bed. We've started with lilies. We're going to go ahead and propagate these babies and seed them out, and there's about 6 different ways of propagation you can propagate lilies. We'll go through and post another video about that when we go ahead and do that. But this whole bed will be full of lilies in the future. That is the plan. Over here we got our garden bed, of which we planted in the fall. This front half of it we also had with garlic filled, and it did not do too well. That garlic I did buy online from Missouri, so it didn't like our South Dakota climates during our springtime here. In the front here we have a beautiful sweet mint plant which is starting to flower. As you can see, we'll get some mint flowers, see what those look like. I've never seen a mint plant go into flower. Over here we got some of the random garlics that did end up surviving, and then we have purple cabbage, late cabbage, and early cabbage. Our bed is also inoculated itself with some sort of mushroom fungus, which is helping to break down the wood chips and feed the plants any nutrients they may need. So you can see there's little mushroom caps coming up all over the place in the bed here. Back to Eden gardening method. We come over here and you can see my garlic that I've gotten from the Sioux Falls Farmers Market has just taken off. It loves the Sioux Falls climate. It's already used to it. I planted this stuff late October, early November, and we have great growth. You can see I have some green stakes here. Those are separating different varieties of garlic. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 different varieties of garlic here, and they are all different sizes or varieties of hardnecks. This one is a music. This one is a small spicy variety. This one is another spicy variety which is also smaller, and this one is a very spicy small variety. I'm sorry I don't know the names of these other 3. Like I said, I just got them from the farmers market. We liked it a lot and we decided we were going to plant some of the cloves after we bought some bulbs. So that's how I ended up getting my garlic here. We'll take you through when we go to harvest that early July. These should start to produce a garlic scape, which is a flower that'll come out of the center here. And once that garlic scape is produced, you're going to want to cut. You're going to want to pull your bulbs, and they should be ready for storage and drying and curing, and then storage after that. Come around 4th of July time. You can see though, these garlic, I'm betting these bulbs of garlic are going to be just as big as my fist, if not bigger. Look at the size of the neck of that garlic shoot coming out of the ground. This is roughly 2.5 feet tall. And you can see there's a wheelbarrow right there, so it's actually taller than the wheelbarrow. Over here, I'm in the process of leveling out my yard still currently, but I'm almost finished, and after I get her all leveled out, I've got this nice dirt that I've got no weeds growing in, and I know it's very fine, great organic living soil. I mean, it is living, but I've tilled it a couple times, so I'm in the process of accidentally killing the microbes in the soil. But if we add some regenerative farming practices to this, we should be able to bring the microbial life back into it, no problem. We'll put some LABS solution. For those of you who don't know what that is lactic acid bacteria solution. 1 cup of lactic acid bacteria solution should be enough to re-inoculate microbes into this particular patch of dirt here. And after we get this completed, we're going to end up doing carrots and our fall crop. So we'll do rows of carrots, and then we'll do some lettuces and some cabbages and some broccoli. And that'll be this little section of the front yard, which I have brought up, and I'm working on getting her all leveled around. You can see I've brought my entire yard up 2 feet with the back to Eden style garden method. Put the wood chips on top over that. Back here I just have a flower bed that I'm using as storage currently. And this tree is a mountain ash. It's half dead. We got to think about what we're going to end up doing about that. Either take down the whole tree or take down the dead branches, or I'm not too sure what the plan is about that. Here we have an empty garden bed that we're not too sure what we're going to do with. We were going to put our blueberry bushes here, but we ended up planting those underneath of the pine tree instead because we read that they like acidic soil. So we put them over there by the pine tree to harness the power of acidity. Over here, we went ahead and we took out the shrubs that we had here last year, and we put in a strawberry patch. I went ahead and I transplanted probably about 15 different plants here, about 1 foot apart. They are starting to send off runners. This is not its own plant. It is actually a runner from one of these 2 plants. And as you can see, we are in the process of getting flowers and berries. So we should have quite the strawberry patch here for the next 4 years of time. After that, in about 2 years, we will plant some more. Just remove 1 or 2 and then plant some more and keep the cycle going, because strawberry plants only last for about 4 years and then they really start to tamper off. Over here we got the 3 garden beds that I put in. In this garden bed we have pepper plants. Every single plant is a different variety. We can go through them for you. We got the Big Daddy, Lady Bell, Early Summer, Red Knight, Alliance, Orange Blaze, Jalapenos. This was a 4-pack of jalapenos, so those 4 are all jalapenos. And then this is another Early Summer, which I ended up getting from Sam's Club because it was already producing peppers. This is my 3rd pepper this season, and we're only in the middle of May here, so you can't beat that. I've also planted in between all my pepper plants all of my squash varieties. So here we have lemon squash, pippin squash, Hubbard squash, and some more lemon squash, I believe. Over here we have a trio of corn. This is blue Hopi corn. And then we have some cucumbers, salad cucumbers, more blue Hopi corn, and then right here we have some zucchinis, aristocrat zucchinis. Now we move on to bed 2, and we have a little bit less of the symbiotic planting. In this bed we're trying to do some tests and see how certain plants grow with each other. It also will attract more diverse microbiology into the soil because all plants react differently with their ecosystem. So over here in this bed 2, we have a different variety of cucumbers. We have glass gem popcorn. We have more cucumbers, more glass gem popcorn, and then we start to get into our heirloom slicers tomatoes. So here we got some Wisconsin 55s. Here we have a Mountain Fresh, and you can see they are starting to produce flowers, and hopefully we're getting pollination and we'll get some fruits here in a couple months and weeks here. The next one we have is an old German. And then we have the gold medal. And then we have health kick. And then we have San Marzano. And then we got a La Roma. So that's that for our slicer tomato bed. There is nothing planted in between each tomato plant. Tomato plants will get pretty big here, so we're gonna need as much space as we can get here. These are all determinate plants, meaning they're gonna stop growing at a certain size and only produce a certain amount of fruits per year. So I will not be training these plants at all. I will just be letting them climb up. Most likely I'll put some sort of fence cage system here for them to climb up, or some rebar poles for them to climb up individually. One second, we got a truck going by. All right, that's the benefits of living right here on this 4-lane street. But you know what? You live next to a 4-lane street in the middle of Sioux Falls and you can produce all your own food like I am. Man, don't get much better than that. Unless you're out in off-the-grid properties. That's the goal anyway. So, bed number 3, we move on to the indeterminate tomato plants. And these are also cherry tomato varieties. And we're going to go through and take a look at what we got growing here. So we got some sun sugar tomatoes, black cherry tomatoes. That sounded so good I had to get 2 of them. Got some red grape tomatoes. And we got some Napa grape tomatoes. And then over here we have Kiwanus or jelly melons. And this is bloody butcher corn. So it's going to be blood red. And then more cucumbers, more bloody butcher corn, and more cucumbers. That is it for the 3 beds. We're going to move on to the side of the house here where I got my melon and herb patch. Over here I got some watermelons. I believe these are Crimson Sweets. Yep, Crimson Sweet watermelons. And then we move over and we had started more and more watermelon plants here. We got orange flash, yellow flash, oblong watermelons, and more as we move down the line. Here we have my herb garden. This is some oregano, some more oregano, more watermelons here, orange flesh, Congo melons here. And then we move into the basil. So we got basil, these are all basil. Then we keep moving down the line and we got even more different varieties of watermelons. So we'll let these melons here grow from the house all the way to the fence over here. And this will be the melon patch. And you work your way around the corner and you keep getting into our herb garden. Here we got our chives, which I just planted this year. We're going to let these completely turn into a perennial plant and just let them come back every year and reseed themselves out. And in front of those we got some red garnet amaranth. We got amaranth here, 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 and here, and those will produce a type of grain that is actually known as a superfood. It is very high in protein and it can replace meat if you are in the interest of becoming a vegetarian / vegan. So that is a great alternative for that, and it's also a very beautiful plant. Right next to all that, we planted our raspberry bush. This is a Falls Gold raspberry bush, so I believe it's supposed to produce its fruit in the fall. I did do a major pruning on it because when I got it, it seems like all the growing tips were broken off. So I waited for it to produce more growing tips, and it did. And then I pruned all the ones that did not have the branches without growing tips on it, so that we're only providing the nutrition to the plants that are currently growing and will benefit my future raspberry bush. These raspberries will be bright golden color when they're ready to harvest, and I'm thinking that will be mid-fall. So that's the raspberry bush there. It's looking pretty good. Over here we've got our 2 blueberry bushes. I've got them protected by some stakes here because they kind of blend in and I don't want them to get stepped on. But when you get closer, you can see we got ourselves some blueberries. And they are just everywhere on these little bushes. These bushes are probably only about 8 feet tall or 8 inches tall. And I'm guessing we got about 50 berries on each bush. So that's not bad for the size that we have here. We are starting to get some new growth here. That's what these lighter, redder colored leaves are here. These are new growth. So it did take well to the transplant and it is growing more. And next season we hope to get even bigger blueberry yields. So those are the 2 blueberry bushes. As you can see, the berries are starting to ripen out. They should be ready, I'm thinking, in July. Just about everything else is ready in July for berry and fruit wise. Why wouldn't my blueberries be? So everybody, that is the majority of the plants that I have going this season. I also have the greenhouse going, but I do not have it active. I'm not currently using it. I'm just using it as rain protection and storage kind of currently for this stuff. Underneath here I do have the chickens, and I did end up finishing out the chicken run, which comes out and they're able to go into this enclosure here, which is just a 8x8 dog cage, which I put a wire cap on, and then they can come out and get their outside time. And this is where I feed them the compost scraps and all the food leftovers, and I give them their water here. They go through a full water every single day, which is kind of crazy. Chickies, they're ready for their water. They think I got them some food. I usually grab them a good couple handfuls of this grass here. They love grass. The reason I don't let the chickens free roam the whole yard is because we are in the center of the city here, and I am next to a 4-lane street right there, and my chickens could get plucked by a rogue city dog, or they could get ran over by a car, or just wander off pretty easily in this neighborhood. I mean, my neighbor's fence is right here. It's a 4-foot tall fence. What's to stop a chicken from jumping over that fence and then over the next fence? Or this lady here, she's got 4 dogs, so they'll rip my chickens to shred if they get over there. And then we got the fire pit where I burn my wood and put the ash into the compost pile. Here's the compost pile. This is chicken, rabbit poop, and decomposed plant matter from last year's garden. As you can see, everything is broken down really nicely. It's making a really great living soil. We're gonna send some of this in for some soil testing, and they're gonna tell us what we need to amend this with. I'm probably gonna end up putting a couple bags of sand in there to add some aeration and drainage to the soil because it's getting pretty heavy. So we're gonna end up trying to figure out what we need to do to amend this compost to be some great stuff for our gardens. So that is that. The greenhouse this summer, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our walls on it, and this side will have a door here, so they'll be able to access the greenhouse. Will be fully enclosed for winter growing or late fall, early spring growing. Not sure yet how that's gonna end up. You loop back around and we're all the way back to the garlic here. But I'm going to take you into the garage here and we're going to take a little peek at our setup. I have the lights in here permanently turned off for the summertime now, finally. So the animals are relying on the sunlight for their light source. We got all our rabbits. This is our male rabbits. We only have 2 currently. We got some baby rabbits here. We're going to end up keeping one of the black ones in here as a male. Over here we got our female rabbits. This is a lilac. Here we have broken chocolate otter, a black. They're both does. That's the baby to her, actually. She's mama. And she's about to get her own cage here soon. Here we have a blue otter. We just removed her babies. Those are the babies that are down in this cage. So we're going to end up getting that nesting box out of there. Here we have a chocolate doe. And over here we have a chocolate otter doe. So you can see all of our rabbits are doing great here. We're doing no breeding through the summertime because we had very little success last summer, and we don't want to risk any of our rabbits' lives or the babies' lives just trying to produce animals. So what we do here on our homestead is we breed hard from September all the way until the beginning of May, and then we take a break and we give our rabbits a good break for the summer so that they can just relax and not be too stressed out in these hot temperatures. Over here we got the chickens, and I've added a couple more nesting boxes to the walls. As you can see, they like it. They'll come when they hear a bag rattle. Here we got some of our black sunflower seeds, and you can see we'll give her a good rattle here. Throw some of these seeds in here, and we'll tell everybody what's going on. Yep, here they come. My good old chickies. We collect their eggs every day. We're getting about 2 dozen eggs a day. We got about 25 chickens here in the system. They roost over here, up here also. They lay their eggs here. They turn up the rabbit shit over here. And the system works pretty dang good, let me tell you. During the winter time, I plug this light in here for 15 hours a day. It gives my birds and my rabbits the light that they need to stay fertile through the winter time, because both chickens and rabbits will actually go infertile with less light during the daytime. And we do give our rabbits the break during the summer. Our chickens, we're not too worried about giving them a break because we're only keeping them for 2 years of life anyway, and then we're selling them to the next person who wants them for a meat bird or for an old laying bird or however they want their chickens. So we're not too worried about expending our chickens' egg sources in the realm of my chicken's laying 300 eggs a year, so she's gonna only lay for 2 years versus my chicken lays 200 eggs a year, so she'll lay for 4 years type of mindset. We're getting rid of these chickens anyway after they become 2 years old, and we will replace them with fresher, younger chickens, and we will just keep the cycle going just like that. So a lot of people disagree with how we do things on our homestead, but if you disagree and you'd like to do things differently, get your own homestead. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to Bountiful Blessings Urban Homestead. This video was a little bit longer than I anticipated, and I do plan to put more videos out more often. We will try to get you a video of how to propagate lilies, how to add LAB and make LAB solution to your garden, to add microbes into your garden, and also into your compost pile. We will be adding that into our compost pile as well. And we will also be giving you guys updates on the garden as it grows, because you know, from this point forward, things will be blowing up with vigor. And we just are so excited for that here at the 2024 season at Bountiful Blessings Urban Homestead. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time. good growing.